Just finished the first 3 episodes of Daredevil Born Again, and what can I say other than holy shit. As you all know, I've been a fan of this series since it started in 2015, so I'm just gonna give a general impression of what I thought of the first 3 episodes, what I liked, what I didn't like, and I'll get to why I really didn't like the ending of the 3rd episode in just a minute. So, first episode, look how they massacred my boy. I was so upset that Foggy died. In a weird way, I kind of expected it. Foggy was kind of very minor as far as the narratives of the first 2 seasons of Daredevil, and so I wasn't surprised. Karen was definitely, she had to remain in the story because she's kind of Matt Murdock's forbidden love interest, so she kind of has to stay, and Foggy's death has to kind of serve as this motivator for Matt to originally throw up the cowl and give up his life as Daredevil, but then he eventually, of course, has to go back in, which is what we're going to see in the last 3 episodes of this season. I just appreciate that he finally took a page out of Punisher's book and realized, you know what, just throw the motherfucker off the building. He shot and killed your best friend. He has it coming. But of course, this is a Marvel TV series, so the bad guy never dies. We can't kill the bad guy. No, he has to come back. Always. Can we get justice, at some point in any of these shows? Now, granted, Bullseye goes away to prison, which I at least liked. I thought they were gonna drag out the Bullseye narrative to be, a recurring enemy in this entire series, in this season. I'm glad they didn't do that. I am kind of glad to see that, Matt's moving on. He's got a bigger law firm. I appreciate the character development that Foggy's death has put Matt through, and I think it's for the better, at least for the purposes of him being a character where, it's not gonna be the same song and dance. I mean, Matt's it's been 10 years since the original series, so they have to change things up. Fisk running for mayor, I was kind of expecting there be some sort of ulterior motive going on, like him wanting to expand his criminal enterprise beyond New York City. But as far as I can tell, it's actually motivated by a genuine desire to improve the conditions in New York, which is a sign that Fisk is genuinely trying to change his ways, even though he's not changing his ways completely. I do think the writers are trying to have us believe that there's maybe a shred of actual altruism within Fisk that he's trying to bring out, but eventually the circumstances and the difficulties of him being mayor are just going to throw him back to psychopath mode. As a Jersey boy, it is nice to see Michael Gandolfini, James Gandolfini's son, in a role for the first time, the first big role I've seen him in, so props to him for that. But in the end, I was just really put off by the diner scene between Daredevil and Kingpin because, I mean, these guys have kicked each other's asses twice before, so it's kind of weird for them to suddenly just be sitting and not realizing hey, you want to throw down here? Let's throw down. I half expected a little bit of a brawl to break out in that diner because Fisk technically wasn't the mayor yet, so it's not like you're attacking the mayor. Really, all the boring stuff is just happening in the first episode because the interesting part is where we get to episode 2 and 3, where you have the White Tiger, a hero that we really didn't see any of before. I haven't seen any of the other Marvel series, so I don't know if he made an appearance in the other ones. Played by Kamar De Los Reyes, may he rest in peace. Also the voice of Raul Menendez from Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3. And the thing that struck me about that whole trial scenario with him is that, I mean, obviously it's gonna segue into the Punisher being in the series and, the cops being in line with the Punisher's gang of crooked cops, I guess. Episode 2 was just amazing just to see Matt lose his shit on the 2 NYPD cops who came into that kid's apartment. That is the level of just merciless violence that I know Daredevil is capable of, and after season 2 and the Defenders and all that crap, this iteration of Daredevil, played by Charlie Cox, does not give a shit if he leaves some people in the morgue, which I appreciate. Then we get to really episode 3, which is just all of this falls apart because it was going so well. This guy, the White Tiger, being put on trial, killing a cop, even though he really didn't kill a cop. The cops were beating up this kid. He finally wins after people realize that he's the White Tiger and he's actually doing more good than harm on the streets of New York. And even though Matt Murdock tells him, you know what, you really shouldn't go out as the White Tiger anymore. I honestly should put you in the witness protection program. You should leave New York and go someplace else. Maybe back to Puerto Rico. And what does this idiot decide to do as soon as he is graced with his freedom and leaves the courthouse? He puts on his suit again, walks the streets, doesn't even go on the rooftops, and just casually strolls onto the street, not even seeing that there's a guy behind him with a gun, and just shoots him point blank in the head. I actually thought that final scene of the 3rd episode was a joke. It actually wasn't happening. Matt was just imagining what could happen if Hector Ayala goes back on the streets. No, he is literally given his freedom, spends a minute as White Tiger and gets shot in the head. That has to be the biggest waste of a character I think I've ever seen since Disney's Star Wars. I was so disappointed by that episode, I almost don't want to see the rest of the series. And I know that it's gonna be good, of course, because, you know, Kingpin's gonna do something fucked up as mayor, we're gonna see John Bernthal's Punisher come back, you know, I'm excited for all of that, but I feel like I was just, like, had my emotions toyed with for, like, 1.5 episodes. It was just such a waste. So that's why I kind of my reaction to these first 3 episodes is sort of mixed. I mean, after a certain point, you know, a superhero drama and like a cop, you know, law drama, they tend to meld together, and it just feels like the other cop dramas that I've always seen. I really am excited to see the levels of sort of mercilessness that Charlie Cox's iteration of the Daredevil will stoop to in order to, you know, fight the bad guys. He's gonna don the mantle of Daredevil again, but this Daredevil, I think he's not gonna show any mercy at all. It wouldn't surprise me if Kingpin does die by the end of the series, which is something stupid to say because right now I can just watch the end of the series, but I'm not going to. As a matter of fact, had I actually seen the casting lists come out for the series, like before I actually watched it, I would have anticipated that Foggy was gonna die. So this is why I don't keep up with news about television or movies, but that's beside the point. I don't really care for the whole thing between Matt's therapist girlfriend and Kingpin and his wife. I don't really care what Karen's doing out in California with her law firm. I don't really care about Punisher and his gang of like rebel cops. I just want to see Daredevil put Kingpin in the ground because Lord knows Kingpin has it coming. I'm really not all that enthused for the next 3 episodes. I thought the ending of episode 3 was a complete and utter joke. If you agree with me, let me know down in the comments. If you know sort of the White Tiger storyline from the comics, if you grew up reading Daredevil, let me know down in the comments as well. And feel free to comment like what you thought of the series overall. Just know that any comments about the end of the series, I'm probably not going to read until after I finish the series this weekend. Thank you, Mevanites, for watching. I'm probably going to release a full, complete review of the series once I finish it, so stay tuned for that video. I'm also going to make another weekly update, have a lot of thoughts about the recent headlines in the news. Sorry again, upload schedule all messy. Hopefully within the next month I'm going to be starting an actual tech job. I'm going to be spending some days working from home, which will give me more time to focus on this. I won't be coming back from a dirty machine shop every day. So things hopefully will change in the near future, but as always, I appreciate your patience, and like, comment, subscribe to the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.